Yo.
What's good, everybody? We got a special video for y'all today. So me and the boy over here,
I'm the boy. Hold up.
me and the boy on the right over here.
That boy
We did that boy Nicky with the grip is gone.
Nick. Yeah.
We did if you know that reference, shout out to you for sure. But we did Lil Wayne's discography. We ran through the whole thing and we were like, let's talk about this. And honestly, dude, I wish we did this. So I had a wedding I had to go to. I was the best man in it. Shout out to MNC. They know who they are. MC, let's go. So it disrupted us a little bit as far as like our filming schedule. So it's been a while since we got together. And I was like way more excited and passionate about certain things. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring that same flavor right now.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know if I remember what the flavor was all about as much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I was definitely going through this was eye opening, and I think I'm about to piss a lot of people off. I think based off general consensus, I think I might I was looking into like what people feel, and I'm about to piss some people off for sure.
Okay. I don't really have too much of a consensus. I know like a couple albums that people like more than like and kind of hold in high regard that I necessarily don't. But just a little bit of Lil Wayne history as far as I'm concerned anyway. I liked Lil Wayne like very, very early on. Like when I first heard him, I liked him. And then I think part of like the not pressures, but being in high school and trying to be the cool guy. Oh, you listen to Lil Wayne, therefore I listen to, I'm listening to Big L. Lil Wayne sucks. Mm-hmm. And so I just kind of put him in a box and I threw him away for 15 years. And last few years I've been kind of listening to stuff, been kind of like, is Lil Wayne actually good? So I went into this kind of not listening to a lot of these and kind of coming at him from a negative angle, and let's see where I end up by the end of this.
So for me, I have a similar story. So when everyone was hype about Lil Wayne, I've always been like a crazy hip hop head my whole life. And like when everyone was saying how good Lil Wayne was, I went into it really, really, really wanting to like Lil Wayne a lot. And I looked into some of his earlier shit. And for me, I didn't think he was lyrically that crazy. I actually found a lot of things he did very annoying, especially back then. I've come around to some of it now, and some of it, like going through his discography, I felt affirmed. I was like, oh, like I felt this way about this, like these albums on this song. And I was like, the writing really isn't that great on this, though. I think I was right. But I have adjusted a lot on my opinion of him, and there's a lot of it that I really was blown away by at the same time. I'll just say it now. So, like, I mean, we'll get through it.
Yeah.
But I have some interesting things to say, I think.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, in a way, like you said, I felt affirmed. Like, when I said I didn't like Lil Wayne, I didn't like Lil Wayne. And then, like, as it kind of develops, I'm like, oh, things changed. But
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that.
So the way we're going to do this is we're going to go through his album in chronological order. We're going to tell you both where we put the album. We'll both talk about each album individually. We'll let you know where we rank it. And then we'll have like a little ticker where we both have it or something as we go. So let's start off with The Block is Hot. And this is out of 13 albums, correct? Should be out of 13 too.
Yeah, let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
13.
Okay. The Block is Hot. Would you want to go first or you want to go second with this? We'll trade off from there.
I'll go, I guess.
Set it off,
all right,
baby.
So I pretty much hated this. It's like, okay, so there's, and this is a lot of it's going off memory. I have a few notes here, but there's a lot of like month-old memories here. But The Block is Hot. It's like the production was tough to listen to.
Yeah.
It was a toughly produced album. And then it almost seemed like Lil Wayne was like a feature on his own album.
Yeah,
where
there's
you
a lot
had
of other shit going on.
Yeah, there's like a ton of other rappers. There's what's his name?
I know what you're talking about. He's on both of them a lot.
Is it Baby?
Birdman, you mean?
Birdman.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of other people that are on it a lot.
Yeah,
too.
Genuine's on there a bunch. or at least the first couple albums. So for me, I had this album dead last. 13 for me.
Okay. So I had this album 13 for sure. Same thing. My one note I wrote here, 4 out of 10. Up to Me was cool. So whatever song Up to Me was, I thought that was cool. But yeah, I felt the same way. I thought the production was weird. He was young, dude. It just, I don't know. It could have been a You Had to Be There kind of thing. Because I've heard people speak positively of The Block Is Hot. Mm-hmm. But for me, I was like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, maybe at the time. And it also kind of represented a sound that I didn't like either. Like that kind of, I don't know what it's like necessarily considered Dirty South. I don't know if it has like a very particular thing, but what I'm calling Dirty South is like what I was listening to. I am also not like a huge fan of that to begin with, so it didn't really hit for me.
Okay. I think next up is Lights Out.
Yeah.
I'm starting.
Yeah.
So Lights Out to me felt like a slight upgrade of the same exact story of The Block Is Hot. I thought it was like a little bit better production-wise, a little bit better lyrically. My note says, pretty listen-toable. Nothing crazy. Realized and Beef. So those are the two songs from there that stuck out to me.
And have any standouts?
I didn't think it was super, super crazy either. I gave this the 12th out of 15. I was slightly better than The Block Is Hot, but I didn't really like it at all.
Well, I held it in high regard and had it 11th.
I think we're going to, I know exactly what your 12th was, yeah.
So, I agree with you, more lyrical, like his lyricism is on display a little bit more. It was definitely overall better. It's just, it sounded mixtapey, but in a bad way. Mixtapes are great, like there's some that are fucking awesome. But there was that like old era, and actually I guess Lil Wayne has a ton of mixtapes anyway, so I haven't gone through those. But
I went through some.
There's that mid 2000s like kind of shitty mixtape sound.
Yeah.
That I thought this was in there with, and this will get better as we go on. This is gonna be shitting on Lil Wayne the whole time.
I mean we just alluded it's like the bottom ranked album.
Yeah. So I had an 11, and I'm going over to 500 Degrees. So this is actually, so I basically wrote 2 notes for every album, and one note is a huge boost in the sound. Looks like the production took I think it went up to the next level for me. The other thing that I put in that I don't really know exactly what I'm talking about, but it says plagued by Big Timers' involvement. so I can't directly reference these things, but I know Big Timers were a big part of Lil Wayne's early part of his career for sure, and they were, like I mentioned in the first one, it was like he was a feature on his own album, and I thought this one too, he was again they're too in there. So I have this at 10th.
Yeah. So I too have that at 10th. So for me, I thought this was I wrote that it's a pretty big upgrade though from the first 2. I wrote much cleaner rapping, way better production, and I want 5 to 6 really good songs for sure. So I don't remember what those 5 to 6 songs were, but I was like 5 to 6 that I would go back to and listen to like enough. I wouldn't have said that otherwise, but I do think again it's like one of the lower albums for Lil Wayne's discography, but I did think it was much more solid than the first 2, and we started a little bit of a trend here. Chronologically, what's the
Carter?
Carter's next, and I'm starting this off.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting. This was a way better album than the first fucking 3, and I think the first line on the first song was like, "I'm back by myself this time," and I was like, "Let's fucking go." So that first song, like, Open the House or whatever it is.
When he's bringing you through the house.
The intro though, like the intro track is a banger. Best song on the album for me, dude. He is rapping his fucking dick off on that. I thought that was dope. It goes right into Go DJ. Like, there's so many good songs on this fucking album. And I was like, when I was going through it, I was like, everyone always talks about how the Carter series is like his best albums, which I'm gonna throw a wrench in that. But I was like expecting this one to kind of be like the first 3 album version Carter, and I thought it was gonna be like still not that great, and I thought this was just absolutely fucking dope. My notes on it are huge step all over all his other stuff, other stuff. But I put this at 6
Okay.
out of 10 for him.
All right. This is where we're gonna veer. This is gonna veer off, but I think I have good reason to veer off on this. Yeah. At this point he's. All right, so this is the album that I talked about. Loving Lil Wayne at first. It was this album. I own this. Played it all the fucking time. So nostalgia plays a huge factor into this because I was going through this. I was like, oh my god, this one too. Like I forgot about so many of the songs.
Yeah,
that
there's
even
a bunch of good ones.
Yeah.
Leg, arm, leg, arm, hey. Like it's so good.
Leg, arm,
Yeah, dude. So many good ones.
Yeah, so it's just like overall, I think it really shoves those first 3 albums, like puts them in the dirt. Like it's fucking awesome. So. And again, I completely understand nostalgia is playing a factor in this. If I have it as my number 2.
That's crazy. I will say
it.
though, as a 6th best album, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not a lot of 6th best albums that are up there with the Carter. Like that. Like it's. I have it very, very highly regarded in my brain. Not just separate from you. But yeah. Next up is Carter 2. You can start.
Carter 2. So this is that album is definitely. So this is the moment in his career where I feel like he kind of goes beyond the rap audience, where he has different. He had more different sounds. It just seemed like to try to reach like more radio songs. Like he kind of went beyond just trying to like rap.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, I think the lyricism he kind of toned down the lyricism along with that a little bit, and I didn't really like it as much. I put it's my number 9.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I have a different view of this album. So I agree with you a little bit. So I'm just gonna because I give it away right away. It's my 5 out of 10. Okay. So I put it in the 5. And I wrote specifically, edges out Carter 1, better production, same amount of bangers, bit higher floor. Beginning run is very overrated, is what I wrote. So like the first maybe 5 or 6 songs, they're good songs, production-wise, but like it's like Fireman, and there's certain songs where just the rapping to me, he's just got like a lot of corny, boring metaphors, and I think this is what made me dislike him, and I must have listened to this album, got through like 4 or 5 songs and was like, I don't like this, and that's what drove me to my opinion. I'm going to admit, and if I just listened to the rest of the album, I thought the second half of it, he tuned up the rapping a bit, and I thought it started picking up where there was songs that competed with Carter 1. I thought the thing was with the Carter 1, like when there was a song that wasn't great on the Carter 1, I thought it was just boring, period. Whereas like on Carter 2, like it just it had fun production and more of a vibe to it.
Yeah.
That made it more listenable. But I thought like they both had like the same ceilings where like a chunk of songs are equivalent to each other. Maybe even slightly edging on Carter 1. But that's why I put Carter 2 at 5. I enjoyed it a bit.
Yeah. That was the album along with like the whole like that being the era of being like, no, I like underground rap now. I'm not gonna listen to this bullshit anymore. Yeah. I did have that album as well, and I don't have like super fond memory or super strong memories, I should say, of listening to it, and I may have kind of got through the same thing that you went through of like listening like, oh, excited, you put in the album in, and then you just like. You listen to the first like 4 or 5 songs, you're like, okay, no, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Fuck Lil Wayne. Fuck.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did, dude. So, and if I just kept going, I would go, yeah.
Because I didn't know that I knew the album until I put it in. And then when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, I looked at the album cover. I was like, I own this album.
There's a lot of good songs on it too, for sure.
Carter 3.
Okay, I'm gonna set this one off. This is where I'm gonna fucking drive people nuts. So, yeah. So, on Carter 3, my note here was with Carter 1 and Carter 2 in mind. Same amount of strong songs for the most part, but the lows were the lowest of the three. I thought the Carter 3 has some fucking absolute stinkers on that shit. Like, I'm talking 2 out of 10, why am I fucking listening to this? Like, bad songs. It has some great songs on it. I really liked Three-Peat. Mr. Carter's fun. Dr. Carter's a good song. Amelia, I think, is a really good song. But, like, there's just a lot of absolute junk on this that's just, like, club, like, I don't know how to explain it, dude. It's just very dull, boring music to me. So I put this at 8 out of 10. And I know a lot of people think this is like number 1.
8 out of 13.
8 out of 13, sorry. Yeah, I put this at 8 out of 13. I know a lot of people really highly regard this album. And again, I think half of it's pretty good, but I think the other half of it is very, very bad. It kind of evens itself out, and that's where it ended up for me.
So to piggyback off of that, I have in here, start strong, but is filled with ups and downs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really, I wish I could fucking like directly, I guess well, whatever.
Yeah, if you pull up the track list, I could definitely tell you.
This seems like one that the hype of the Carter 2, because I feel like the Carter 2, like with Fireman, like I might be wrong on this, but I think Fireman was like, at least the song that I remember that a lot of other people liked. Like Go DJ was like the one that like
from the first, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the one that like people liked, but like there wasn't like that random girl in school. You're like, wait, you like that? You know, that was Fireman. That's when Fireman was.
Yeah. And
so
I think another thing that we're gonna miss on this is Like Father Like Son came out in between Carter 2 and Carter 3, that him and Birdman album, and that's the one that has like Make It Rain and like a bunch of the songs that were big in high school that were like, wait, where were those? Like, and I was like, oh yeah.
So I thought this song is a lot of like a lot of people that bought the hype of the Carter 2 really liked the Carter 3.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't it for me. I have this one, let me double check again. I think 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I have this as number 7. Which brings us to Rebirth. And you're like, wait, Nick, you've done 12. You've done 10. You've done 9. But where's 11? Rebirth.
Yeah.
And Rebirth honestly would be 12 if The Block is Hot wasn't like a pile of dog
Wait, wasn't
shit.
it 12 for you?
Oh, sorry. 13. Sorry. I had 13.
Yeah.
11, yeah. So, we're just messing up how many albums when this dropped.
Yeah.
So, I think this would be my last one if I just did it, like, The Block is Hot is, like, if, it sounded like if we were to get, if me and you were just, like, go to, like, some guy and be like, hey, we're going to make a rap album with you. And then, meanwhile, me and you were like, we're actually, this is more about us than it is him. So, and then we just, like, don't know what the fuck we're doing, but we're just making rap. Not that Birdman didn't know what he was doing, but it kind of sounded like it. Anyway, so if it wasn't for that, Rebirth would be the last one. If he just, like, got in the studio and had a proper production team, so I have in here that I don't like it. I don't like it, but he's closer to accomplishing at what he was trying to do with that album than The Block is Hot. And as I said, I'm not sure how he ended up here, but I'm glad he didn't make it his thing. I'm glad he didn't stick with it. Anyway, that's 12 for me.
Yeah, so for me, I put it at 11. Pretty much same thing that he's saying is like, I think it's a better rock album than Lights Out and The Block is Hot are rap albums. Not that I know enough about rock to say that out loud, but like I'm pretty sure like it is. Like it's gotta be decent. I'm sure rock fans are probably like, no, it was garbage too. But
yeah, he followed no man's land.
But like I don't know. I was just like I don't care about rock enough to be like, this is terrible rock music, where like I do about rap. So like I was probably easier on it. So I called it 11, but I literally wrote better rock album than bottom 2 are rap and Drop the World gives it bonus points because that song that was actually it's basically hip hop and it's a pretty fire song. But I think honestly when I was listening to this one too, it just sounded like Lil Wayne trying to be Blink-182 basically, and I was just kind of like. I think I skipped some songs. Like it was the only one in the discography where I was like, yeah, I get what this is. I get what's going on here. Yep, I get what's happening here. Yeah. Like I don't need to listen for a verse to like think about like how much I like it.
Yeah.
But I blitzed through it. It's 11. Keep moving. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but outside of him saying 2, my top 4 are still on the board.
Yeah,
and he's got a lot. So like
I was about to say, start your engines.
We're about to start cooking right now, dude. What's next after Rebirth?
I Am Not a Human Being is next.
And I'm going first on this?
You are going next on I Am Not a Human Being.
Okay, so I'm surprised you're excited about this because for me, I Am Not a Human Being 1 wasn't that great. I said could have seen 500 Degrees over it, but pulled away towards the end, more sonically pleasing, but not up there with the Carters is what I wrote. I have this at 9 out of 10. So I wasn't a super big fan of I'm Not a Human Being. It felt like it blended together. I thought Carter 3 was better than it because of the highs on it. Like it was just like a lot of 6s and 7s thrown together for me. And that's why I put it.
I disagree. You might guess. I just especially like coming off of Rebirth, the bounce back of this album is like fucking insane. It might be.
I was pulling for it to be like that for sure.
It might be, at least in my opinion, maybe one of the best album-to-album upgrades that I've ever experienced.
Revival to Kamikaze.
It's a good point. It's fair enough. And yeah, he was just. I feel like when I was talking about the Carter 2, especially Carter 3, like. Having more like radio friendly songs, and I thought this was him like being like, I'm a rapper, like it's like I know I just made a rock album, but I am a fucking rapper, and I thought it was fire.
I wonder, did you think it was? Were you listening to I'm Not a Human Being 2 and you thought it was I'm Not a Human Being?
No. I
get maybe I'll go back
because because I have I'm Not a Human Being 1 at 3, which means I have 2 and 3 now filled.
Yeah, I still have my top 4 all open.
Yeah.
And I have very strong opinions about the higher up albums.
Yeah, I mean the top. I mean, 4. I really enjoy. So I got 2 more in there.
Okay, so next up after that is Carter 4.
Yep.
I think you're going first.
Me? So he really. Let me pull up because this is the first album that I heard by Lil Wayne, like when it kind of came out. So I can maybe reference that, but I thought just generally he fell more into he fell into a pocket more. I feel like he kind of hit his stride as far as like a rapper is concerned. Just like you're just like listening. You're like, good, another good one, another good one, another good one. It was like super consistent. I have it at 4.
Cool. I agree with you. I have it at 4 as well. So I put the Carter 4 at 4. I wrote, so at this moment in time, going through the discography in chronological order, if you're paying attention, the Carter 2 is my top album. So in my head I wrote, was very close until the deluxe, which is when it pulled ahead. I know you didn't do the deluxes, but for me, every song on the deluxe of the Carter 4 was banging. Yeah. I thought it was close to the quality of the Carter 4 or Carter 2. I mean, 6 Foot, 7 Foot was a standout. Mega Man was a standout. There were like a bunch of really, really banging songs on Carter 4. But like I thought there was, I thought it was close with the Carter 2. But after the deluxe came, I was like, this is his best album so far. Like I really loved it, and I put it at 4.
And live correction, this isn't the first album that I listened to. Like when I started, it was later on.
Okay.
I was like, wait a minute. I looked at the album cover and I was like, no, this wasn't it.
Yeah. Carter 4 is dope. What's next in chronological?
I Am Not a Human Being 2.
Yeah. Okay. So this is when it gets crazy for me. So I put this at 3. So I have a Carter 4 at 4. I Am Not a Human Being 2 is 3 now. So my top 2 are still available. But I thought I Am Not a Human Being 2 was super fire. I wrote really fire until the 4 tracks at the end, but last one brings it back. So like I thought every song was a banger, and then out of the last 5 songs, it was kind of 4 duds in a row, and then the last one was really dope. I fucking loved a ton of songs on this. I've been going back and listening to them at the gym, dude. I thought the fucking one where he's like fucking get on that dick and stay on all night like porch lights. What's the one? It's the one with two chains, or is it? Oh, my bitches be rich as fuck. I think it's called Rich as Fuck. Dude, there's just so many fire fucking songs on this album. Gun Walk was fucking dope. I think lyrically he turns it up a notch. He's rapping his ass off. And I thought it was really dope. I put it at number 3.
Yeah, and for me, when I was listening to it, I was like, this is a classic hip hop album. Like, this is, I have the Carter 1 as like my own, for my own purposes, like in there as far as like when I think of great hip hop albums in there. But this was a first time listen when I was going through it, and I was like, wow, I completely fucking whiffed on ever listening to this for how long?
You have a number 1?
Yeah, this is,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
did I not say that?
Dude, I'm surprised you have 2 of the other ones below. Oh my god.
2013. Yeah, so fucked around and went 11 years without ever hearing this album, and I think it's Lil Wayne's best album.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I loved it. And you know what's funny? When I heard it, I thought there was not a fucking chance that any album was going to top it. And it happened twice. So, like, I was blown away by that album for sure, too.
Yeah. Free Weezy album, FWA.
Oh, boy. Go ahead.
Is me? Oh.
Yeah.
So, now this is this is the album that I listened to when it came out. So, let's read what I wrote here. Because there's definitely this stuff about him like shooting himself in there and stuff. So I have it's a much more personal.
No, that was the last song on Carter 4.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Carter 5.
All right. Well, then never mind. Scratch that. And then I have
And some of those aren't. There is like a title specific version. So when you listen to my Apple Music, 3 of the songs are missing. They're. I listened to them after I rated it, but.
Yeah, it's it. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really know what I meant by this. I have in there that it fills, at least how I felt at the time. It fills all the gaps that I'm Not a Human Being 2 was like lacking on, is where it kind of fill those spots in. Because I think it's more. I think it's a lyrical album, but it's not. Like I was saying, like more personable album. I have it at 5.
Cool. So I think this is the best Lil Wayne album by far. I gave Glory and My Heart Races On 10 out of 10s out the gate. Like, My Heart Races On, it's like, dude, something about the vibe of that song. It's not even like a lyrical rap song, dude. I was like, this is just fucking incredible music. Glory, he goes off. I gave London Roads a 9.5 out of 10. I have Psycho Murder, Post Bail Ballin' are all 8s and 9s. I put Pull Up as a 9.5 out of 10. I give this Album of the Year 2015 without a question. Best Lil Wayne album I've heard, probably in my top 20 albums of all time. I was fucking absolutely blown away by this album. And then when I listened to the 3 extra songs, one of them was really dope. The other 2 weren't like super, super crazy, but one of them I was like, fuck, why didn't I hear this the first time? Yeah, I thought it was so fucking clean the whole way through. And even with this, there's another album that I have at 2 that I was fucking conflicted on, like, is it better than this album? Like, but yeah, Free Weezy album was crazy. He knocked Eminem out of, I think he put out a better album than Eminem put out in all of the 2010s. Like, it was my favorite album of that decade. So, like, yeah, I thought that shit was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So it was my number 1. I think next up's Carter
5.
So this is my number 2. This is where I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? I was going through this album too. I think where the Carter 5 slipped up is just that it's so long. But the amount, like literally, I'm just going to go through it because I actually did this for I realize this now that I forgot I put an out of 10 ranking next to every single song. I have it underneath on my ranking. But literally, the way this goes for me is 8.5, 9, 8.75, 8.5, 10, 5.5, 8, 6, 8.5, 8, 8, 8, 8.5, 7, 8, 8.5, 8.5, 7, 7, 8.5. Like, it's just all very good songs with like a couple here and there that aren't great. And because of the couple here and there that aren't great, it dips it a little bit below the Free Weezy album for me. But I thought it was fucking amazing too. And I was like, dude, how does this dude keep coming? How does this dude keep having good songs? I think lyrically, from Free Weezy album on, or I'm Not a Human Being 2 on, he hits like a prime stride for sure. And I put Carter 5 at 2.
Yeah, so I think this album is like a stamp on his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he really is just like, I don't know. It really, like, I feel like it ties his whole career together in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of there, pop up. But, so ton of songs that I like. There's a handful that I could do without. And that seems to be the kind of crutch of the Carter series for me, is the high highs, and then not like the low. Not that I don't think this. I don't recall having like any negative feelings towards any of the songs here. Ooh,
No,
besides Kendrick Lamar's verse on Mona Lisa, I hated that.
Really, dude? People think that's so classic. Yeah,
I don't like the voice.
I'm looking to see if there's any song that I think was a definite stinker. I didn't like What About Me or Perfect Strangers that much. Apparently, I gave those in the 6 ranges, but.
So I have this as number 6.
Wow.
But
yeah, dude, I thought that boy kept coming.
Yeah.
The top 4, like the fact that Carter 4, I was like, this is gonna be the best. And then I'm Not a Human Being 2 came out, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be the best. And then the Free Weezy album came out, I was like, bro, if he tops this again, like what the fuck? And then Carter 5, like it was close for a while, but I ended up going Free Weezy.
I gave them each my school letter grade. I haven't been sharing. I gave this a C+.
Carter 5?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I would say Carter 5 is a classic.
And then me.
Yeah. Wrap it up with Funeral.
Funeral. It was pretty good. It was a solid album. I do think it was kind of. Maybe it was just the highs of the other albums, like having a run that is the I Am Not a Human Being 1 and 2, the Carter 4, Free Weezy album, like having all of those, and then even the Carter 5, like I said, there was just like if you could just eliminate some songs off of it, it would have been a higher ranking. So I don't know if it was just like having your expectations now set so high because you go the beginning of his career and you're like, and then you start hitting, you get to, for me anyway, it gets to Not a Human Being, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Because now I've gone through like the shitty part, and then I've gone through like the ones that other people like that I kind of trickled in and heard, and now I'm hearing these albums that I've never heard before that I love, and then like I have these super high expectations, and then we got to Funeral, and it wasn't a bad album. My ranking of it was a C. So right in the middle. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9 as my number 8. So I had it as my number 8 album.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I have it as my number 7. So it's I have my Elite 4 and then Carter 2, Carter, Funeral, and I have it above Carter 3. So like slightly. And then I have I'm Not a Human Being at 9. So I thought it was good. I thought Funeral. I wrote really strong start, got a bit stale with a few solid ones to round it out. But I thought like the first 6 or 7 songs on Funeral were like he was continuing his trend of being really dope on Carter 5 and Free Weezy album. And I thought it fell off towards the end. But I do think like the highs are pretty high. Like I loved Mahogany, and there's another one in the beginning that I thought was really dope too. But yeah, I think it falls off towards the end. What's the it's gotta be Mamma Mia. Yeah, those are two solid ones.
Oh, Mamma Mia was fire.
Yeah,
I
to
love
start
Mamma Mia.
off.
That's
Yeah.
that was yeah.
And then I think like there's a couple good ones in the beginning, and then after like from like Clap Forum on, I feel like it's just meh, and it just wasn't
Yeah,
up there with the other stuff too. It also had like the trouble of having to come after what I think is one of the best 3-album runs I've ever heard.
Yeah. There's with was the Carter 5, was it?
Mm-hmm.
The Carter 5 and this one, they felt a little bloated. Like they're just kind of like too long in a way for me.
See, dude, the Carter 5 for me, dude, I didn't feel that way because I thought every fucking song was really good.
Yeah.
I kept being like, bro, when is it gonna be a bad song? Like I was actually like rooting for Free Weezy album because I liked it so much, and I was like, what the fuck? And that might have worked for it because I was rooting against it so much that everything maybe seems better. But like I genuinely was like, what the hell is going on here? But I thought Funeral just didn't keep up with everything else.
Yeah.
But overall, Lil Wayne thoughts.
Oh yeah, I wish it's on my phone, which is you were my phone right now. So going into this, I could have told you if you were to be like, where do you rank Lil Wayne all time in your top 100 favorite rappers? I would say Lil Wayne is not listed on my top
That's
100
crazy.
favorite
Yeah.
rappers. Like I could name a lot of fucking rappers
Yeah.
that
I get
are
that
really
sentiment.
fucking great.
Yeah.
And Lil Wayne ain't on there.
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up, Mom. But I now have I come to Lil Wayne with bended knee, and I don't know exactly where I slotted him in, but he's this is
I'm about to get crazy.
this is still not like people are gonna be like, what the fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
But this is gonna be crazy coming from me if you knew who I was. He's in my top 30.
Okay, yeah, I put it. I slotted him at 18.
I wish I had, yeah.
He was in my top 100 before this, but he's in the 60s.
Okay.
And after going through his discography, I stopped him at 18, right behind Tupac. So that's where I got Wayne. Tupac 17, Wayne 18.
Yeah, man, he's I wish I could see because I think I want to say it's like in the.
Just grab your phone, let them watch football for a second.
No, because I think I'd have to like click out on like the video of it, but it's somewhere. If I had to like guess, it's like in the 22 to 25 range, but definitely top 30. 100%.
Yeah, he's incredible, dude, and I think lyrically too. Like I think we could 12-pack Wayne, and he would fuck some people up.
Yeah, he goes the fuck off, and like when you talk about like the 2010s.
Yeah.
That was his like
Yeah,
era.
dude, I Am Not a Human Being 2, Free Weezy album, Carter 5, to me was like, holy shit. And that was coming off the Carter 4, which was my favorite album of his going into that 3-album run. So you can even call it a 4-album run if you want. Like, I was just, and that was 2011, 2013, 2015, 2018. I was like, bro, this dude. And so, best rapper of the 2010s decade, Lil Wayne. For me. No one had a better performance than him.
I mean, I always stick by Mr. Fiasco's side. So
2010s?
Yeah, he had Tetsuo and Youth, which I rank super
I
highly.
think we disagree on that. I gave that like a 5.5, I think.
I like Lasers. I know it's not like a huge. I really like Lasers, Food and Liquor 2, and Tetsuo and Youth. Drogas Wave had its moments. Drogas Light was I have a hard time calling that like a.
But in the 2010s, you think you did better than Wayne?
Yeah, so Lil Wayne, like I have in my top 200 albums, I think I slotted 4.
But
Lil Wayne
looking at
Lil
this
Wayne
for
albums
me,
total.
dude, like Drill Music and Zion, I think is Lupe's best album, and then I think second and third are Food and Liquor and The Cool. Like I'm not sitting here and telling you to think Lupe is better than Lil Wayne is crazy, but I feel like the best albums that he did were like I think Food and Liquor 2 is his worst album, and I wasn't like huge on Drogas Light either.
Yeah.
I feel like in the 2010s specifically is all I'm talking about. Like I'm not worried about like Lil Wayne.
Yeah. No, I just I Tetsuo and Youth is like a top, maybe like a top 10 album for me.
Do you want to turn this into a Lupe thing? Because I have my Lupe album ranks. And I think we did that too. I have my Lupe album ranks right here. Do a real.
You're just
We don't have to run it. We can switch up the videos. But we can go right into a Lupe and then call it a day.
Raw Dog Lupe, dude. Well, pause.
Yeah, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he has 9 albums. It'd be easy. And I also have my rankings of all his songs. I did the same exact thing. Yeah. So, and he's your favorite guy, so you can just talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can. Like, I can go.
You can go off the cuff on.
Yeah,
on
I can
Lupe.
freestyle Lupe. All right.
Yeah, he's your favorite. He's his favorite rapper of all time.
Hey, Kendrick, do the right thing. Put Lil Wayne in half.
Let's for real, bro. What do you think about that?
I mean, you're putting it down in New Orleans and like that's Lil Wayne country, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's his spot. I think Jay-Z don't like him for some reason. Because Nicki Minaj called him. Nicki Minaj called fucking Jay-Z a house N-word on Twitter. She's like, "You're trying to please the white people and shit." And she said, "You're taking your beef with Nicki Minaj and Birdman and taking it out, or Nicki Minaj and Drake and taking it out on Lil Wayne or something like that." Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time that we release.
And wasn't Kendrick in the Super Bowl halftime show last year or 2 years ago? When
he did, yeah. I think it's time to relieve Jay-Z of his Super Bowl halftime show duties. I mean, they've been good ones and everything, but if this is gonna be like a problem, it's like just get people that put on great shows. Like, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Fucking, like, don't let personal biases into the shit, bro.
All right, let's do it.
No.
All right. See y'all. We'll see y'all next one. I'm about to do Lupe.